Good evening and welcome to Toastmaster Time, the show that has everybody talking. I'm Dave Orris, and it's my pleasure to be your host for this special edition of Toastmaster Time. Special because tonight we have for you the winners of a recent humorous speech contest. So if you like to laugh, then you are in the right place. Speaking of being in the right place, tonight we have for us as Chief Judge, past District Governor Ashley Harkness. Hello, Ashley.
Hi, Dave.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
It's great to have you on here. Now, as Chief Judge, explain what that means.
Well, the responsibility of the Chief Judge is to organize the judges at the contests to make sure they understand their responsibilities to choose the best speaker.
Do you actually judge the contestants yourself?
Only in the case of a tie among the judges, and that's really very rare.
What are the judges looking for in our speakers? What criteria do they apply?
Toastmasters International guides the judges in making their decision by giving them a host of criteria. There's actually a judge's ballot and guide. For instance, in that ballot, they recommend that the judge consider the content of the contestant's speech for speech development, effectiveness, the audience response. They also guide the judge in delivery, in what's happening to the voice, the physical properties, the manner. And finally, there's a requirement for them to look at how the language is used. Is it appropriate and correct? So basically, the judges are given these criteria to follow, but they make the decision.
You mentioned content early on. I understand it's a large portion of the judging criteria. I think it's important for our audience to know that Toastmasters write their own speeches as well.
Exactly. These are original speeches. They're not supposed to be a series of strung together one-line jokes or anything like this, but a speech that has a content, organization, and structure.
Well, we're going to hear our first speaker right now. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Okay. Our first speaker, Sambit Mishra. My perfect speech.
Let's travel in time, not forward, backward, way backward, all the way to 1993. What's our location? India, New Delhi. And now we are in this infamous flea market called Chandni Chowk. What's happening? Some sort of tussle is going on. Somebody is in trouble. Who is in trouble? What's happening? Fellow Toastmasters, Toastmasters Times viewer, I will take you to the spot. I will still remember that day vividly when I was looking for a bargain in that flea market. Now, Chandni Chowk is not one of the best neighborhoods in New Delhi. They call it as a Bermuda Triangle for the shoppers. Shoppers have disappeared from it for extreme haggling. As I was looking for a bargain, a short, simple-looking guy approached me with 4 T-shirts in his hand. These are Polo designer T-shirts. He asked me $50 for all those. I was thinking that's a good deal. So I agreed to that. I gave him $50. He put those 4 T-shirts in a plastic bag, put a nut. I put that bag in my box, and I thought that's a great deal. So I sat down next to a coffee shop, and the guy who was working in the coffee shop approached me and said, "Are you a Dumbo?" What? He asked me to check what's there inside the bag. So I opened the bag, and to my dismay, I found that the bag is full of rags. So I bought $50 worth of worthless rags. I couldn't believe my eyes. I wanted to do something about it. So as I looked down the flea market, I saw there are several people with T-shirts in their hands. So I figured out it is a gang war. Right there, I spotted a cop. Excited, I ran to the cop and said, Mr. Cop, this is what happened to me." And the Mr. Cop looked at me and said, "Are you out of your mind?" What? The cop explained, "How can you believe that somebody can sell you 4 designer Polo T-shirts for $50? Well, a little hesitant, I tried to explain him that, I believe that guy was trying to make some extra bucks, side income. And now the cop was looking straight into my eyes with a very firm voice. He said, "Were you trying to purchase stolen property?" Oops, I didn't see that coming. So I left the cop where he was, but wanted to do something on my own. So after a while, I spotted the same guy. Very carefully, I approached him from behind, got him with a headlock, and lifted him up. As I did so, I noticed that several characters emerging out of the slum and started approaching me. You must have known about a response called fight or flight. On that day, my response was fight and flight, fight and flight. While lifting that guy up, I started running backwards towards the main road. Along the way, I was using all the curse words, the best of the best curse words. Okay, make the worst of the worst curse words in native Hindi. I can assure you that those words cannot be translated in any other languages, no matter how rich is the languages. And I was yelling those at top of my lungs. Not from a effective speech point of view. I badly wanted that cop to hear me. Along the way, I was maintaining perfect eye contact with all of them. Not from an effective speech point of view, but I just wanted to make sure that I'm not going to be blindsided by any of them. And my body language was great. You know why? Because most of my body parts were not in my control. Right then, I noticed that I have gathered some audience. It felt very assuring to know that now I cannot disappear without making it to the front page of the newspapers. Yes, yes, I'll be famous once I'm gone. The climax came when I noticed that some of the folks are looking down very carefully. I also took a glance. Yo! Fluid was dripping down from his pants. This guy was leaking. Nobody can miss that. There is a puddle right there. And that's when they returned my money. Getting money on top of my life felt like a bonus. So to celebrate, I sat down next to the coffee shop. As I sat down, I noticed that my jeans which are wet. That fluid didn't come from him, that fluid came from me. And that was not the bodily fluid as I originally thought. It is pure drinking water. I had a water bottle right here in this pocket which got crushed, water was out and did the puddle. Till that, I considered that as my perfect speech. And why not? I had a perfect body language. My voice was all over the scale. Talk about vocal variety. Aha, eye contact. I had perfect eye contact all the time. Heck with eye contact. I even established body contact. Now I know that Toastmaster manual does not recommend to have body contact with your audience, but it does not deny either. From my experience, I can tell you that body contact is much more powerful than mere eye contact. Of course, the speech was persuasive. They let me go and gave back my money. And that little puddle down there, that's called getting comfortable with visual aids. From that incident, I learned 3 things. Number 1, you never know what's inside the bag. Number 2, you never know who is leaking. And number 3, you never know when Toastmaster skills will come in handy. Toastmaster for life. Amen.
That's some good stuff there. The Shopper's Bermuda Triangle.
Shoppers
That's quite a
Triangle.
story.
I don't think I'm going to go to New Delhi to buy shirts. I can tell you right
No.
now. That's for sure.
Well, now, Kanda Alahan, our next speaker.
Yes.
Are you familiar with Kanda?
I've known Kanda for several years. Yes, I've actually been at some of the clubs where he's a member, and
Okay.
he's a very well-known Toastmaster.
Well, let's bring him on.
I
Ready?
think you should.
Okay. Kanda Alahan, too big to fail.
California, the nation state, 37 million people, the source of creativity and innovation worldwide. Yet we have a state government in gridlock. Nothing can get done. Our freeways are full of potholes, our schools don't have enough teachers, and our prisons are overcrowded. What's wrong? Is California too big? Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, Toastmaster Time viewers, our state borders were established 160 years ago by politicians in Washington, D.C. What did they know about the frontier west, 3,000 miles away? As people started moving here, they realized that this is an awfully big place. And over the next 150 years, efforts were made to split the state north and south, north, central, and south, east and west, but nothing ever came of it. California is too big. I have the solution. 7 states. There are many excellent reasons for doing this. For example, have you ever wondered why Puerto Rico hasn't become a state? How do you fit one star on our flag? The stars come in rows of 6. We grow California from 1 to 7 states. We add an entire new row of stars. Another excellent reason. You may notice these borders are not arbitrary. They are geographically based. People of like mind generally congregate together, and we find that on average, the coastal states will be primarily Democratic or blue, and the inland states will be primarily Republican or red. The blue states will raise your taxes. The red states will cut your services. Presto! No more government gridlock. It's too easy. Now you may ask, is this crazy idea workable? Well, let's investigate. Each state needs a name, a viable economy, a state capital, and a flag that reflects the unique nature of the state. Let's start with the mountainous inland region. This state we'll call Sierra. The economy is based in tourism. Everybody loves to visit the mountains. And the capital will be placed in the beautiful area right next to Yosemite National Park. The flag will, of course, be mountains. Let's move west now to the Sacramento-San Joaquin valleys. This state, let's call Sac Joaquin. It has a ready-made state capital in Sacramento, and it is an agricultural powerhouse. It is, in fact, the breadbasket to the nation. Hence, the state flag, a breadbasket. Let's move now to the inland south. It is an area of dynamic economic growth. Let's call this state Mojave, after the desert, of course. And we'll put the capital right there in the middle in Palm Springs, a golfer's paradise. Now, what do golfers do after 18 holes of golf? They go to the 19th hole and have a drink under a date palm tree. Voila, the state flag. Let's now go to the coastal south, the Los Angeles to San Diego region, with, let's consider calling this Los Diego or San Angeles. How about Sangeles? It is a national hub of commerce and industry, and it is the world center of the entertainment industry. Knowing that fact, it makes perfect sense to place the capital right next to Disneyland, and the flag is an obvious choice. We move now to the Central Coast, the region from Santa Barbara to Santa Cruz, with the nation's most beautiful state capital established at the Hearst Castle in San Simeon, overlooking the Big Sur coastline. We could call this state Big Sur, but the postal abbreviation could be a problem. Let's see, Santa Cruz to Santa Barbara to Santa Cruz. How about naming this state Santa Santa? With a name like that, everybody will want to visit at Christmas time, and it will be an economic boon to the region. It will, in fact, make a great state flag. Let's jump now to the North Coast, the region from north to the Oregon border. This is the area where the great redwood forests are growing, where the hippies from the 1970s moved, and where the main industry is growing marijuana. This is an ecological utopia. How about naming this state Ecotopia? The capital will be in the middle of the redwoods, and the flag will be forest green, emblazoned with a locally significant symbol. That leaves the Bay Area, where we are. This is the region that was first settled by non-native immigrants, the portal through which the gold miners first arrived, the home of the innovator to the world, Silicon Valley, and the jewel of the West, San Francisco, and its world champion baseball team. What better name could we give this state than California? And for a flag, how about something of local historic significance? Something that was first raised in Sonoma in 1846. Something like this. Now, with my apologies to those of you who are guests in our area, isn't it nice to know that most of us live in the real California? We aren't goofy or spaced out like anybody else. Our capital will be in the middle of the state, in the East Bay. It'll be a magnet to draw thoughtful and serious-minded people who want to live and work in the real California, all of whom, I might add, will make excellent candidates for membership in our thoughtful and serious-minded Toastmasters clubs. You can see this proposal has no downside. Email your state assemblyman, call the governor's office, let them know we have a solution to our problems. This, my friends, with your help, can be and will be the future of California.
Kanda Alahan. Actually, he makes some pretty good points.
Absolutely. I think they should take notice of this in Sacramento.
Well, he makes more sense with a humorous speech than some of our politicians do. Seriously.
We got an important point there. Important point there, my friend. Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Well, our next speaker is Dale Harmon, and you're familiar with Dale Harmon also.
I've known Dale for many, many years. He's a member of a Laugh Lovers group, and he is one funny guy.
Well, he's going to demonstrate it right now. Let me bring him on. Dale Harmon, are you ready for some football?
Are you ready for some football? Oh, come on, people. Mr. Toastmaster, Toastmaster Time viewers, let's try this again. Are you ready for some football? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Some people feel that this time of year is special because the leaves begin to turn. Others find it magical because the holidays are close upon us. Ha! The only thing that makes this time of year special is football, football, and more football. Tonight, yes, tonight, I will transform those of you who are less than thrilled with America's game. But for those of you who love it, I'm going to spice up your football watching experience, and I'm also going to help you make your team a winner. Are you ready? You know, some people believe that a football game, oddly enough, is decided by the players on the field. Really? Others feel that coaches help determine a team's fate. I'm sorry, I didn't get that memo. I'm here to tell you that if your football team loses every single Sunday, the only person that can be held accountable is the person that you look at in the mirror every single day. Something as important as a football game should never be left up to mere professionals. Now, as you can see, I am dressed in the garb of the mighty Pittsburgh Steelers. Dressing in this manner is, of course, optional, but required. My team has won 2 of the last 5 championships. Coincidence? I think not. I have led my team to every single victory. Note, Dale Harmon in no way can be held responsible for losses or ties. Certain restrictions do apply. Now, everyone knows that Toastmasters are a positive bunch, and I will show you how to harness your positive mojo through the screen and to your team. Before every game, the first thing you must do is park yourself directly in front of your TV screen. Ignore all the warnings of safety that your parents issued to you during the 70s. Please join with me. As you begin to watch, you must begin to rock. Yes, it feels good, doesn't it? You are now transferring your positive energy through your team and to the screen. Yes. Now, very important, your very first scenario. Your team has the ball and they need a first down. You must do the following. Quickly jump to your haunches. You must do the following. Ziggity-zang, ziggity-zang. Whoa. Do it with me, please. Ziggity-zang, ziggity-zang. Whoop. Congratulations! Your team just scored a first down because of you. Here is your second scenario. Your team is defending against the other team and they are marching towards your goal. What do? You must do the following. Quickly, again, to your haunches. Riggedy-row, wham. Do it with me. Riggedy-row, wham. Oh, I can see it. You are getting good. This is great. Now, your last and most important scenario. Your team is down by 2. You need a field goal to win the game. The coach is about to trot out the team's NRA. That's right, not real athlete, also known as the kicker. Before the ball is kicked, you must do the following. Shibbity, shibbity, woof. Do it with me, please. Shibbity, shibbity, woof. For those of you who are scoring at home, the woof is actually silent. Please write that down. It's not over. Games of this magnitude are sometimes played in horrendous weather conditions. Be prepared to jump back from your haunches, lean back, shake your hands, and move to and fro to make sure that the ball goes securely through the uprights. And your team has won. You have led them to victory. It's very important. What I have shown you today is very powerful, yet very effective. Very effective, yet very powerful. And for obvious reasons, should be done while you're all alone. So I'm gonna ask you just one more time. Are you ready for some football? Yeah!
Dale Harmon. Ladies and gentlemen, you've just witnessed 3 entertaining and humorous speeches. We've got more entertainment to follow, but we've got to take a short break. We'll be right back.
What future do you envision for yourself? What dreams do you have? If you want your dreams to come true, you must have confidence in yourself and your abilities. A Toastmasters Club can help you build that confidence. A low-cost learning experience for men and women. Toastmasters shows you how to express yourself clearly and effectively. Make your dreams a reality. Join a Toastmasters Club.
Speaking in public doesn't have to be a death sentence.
Welcome back to Toastmaster Time, the show that has everybody talking. We're all talking about the wonderful speeches we heard tonight. In fact, I want to chat with you all a few seconds before we have to close the show. I'm amazed at what you have done, what you put together. How long have you been involved in speech writing and giving speeches?
Myself for 6 months.
6 months, that was it? How about you, Kanda?
I joined my club in 2003, but I went to high school. I had high school speech when I was in high school from my father. So
So it obviously shows that experience. And Dale, how about you?
It's been about 5 years now, Dave.
5 years, and you're involved in a club that specializes in humor.
Laugh Lovers is a club that is designed to help Toastmasters add humor to their speeches.
And what other clubs are you with, Kanda?
Concord Breakfast Toastmasters in Walnut Creek.
And
I'm FAT Toastmaster in Newark.
well, obviously these clubs do wonders for our speaker. I'd love to chat with you more about this, but we've got to come to a close here. Would you be willing to come back on the show at a future date?
Sure.
Most
Well,
definitely.
we're looking
Certainly.
forward to having you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, perhaps you live in the Palo Alto area and would like to join us here on Toastmaster Time. Contact us through our website, www.toastmastertime.com. And what's going on in District 57? Find out at d57toastmasters.org. Toastmasters is currently in 113 countries throughout the world. To find out more about Toastmasters or to find a club in your area, go to toastmasters.org. I'd like to thank again our speakers tonight, Sambit Mishra, Kanda Alahan, and Dale Harmon, and our Chief Judge, Ashley Harkness, and all of the cast and crew members at the Media Center here in Palo Alto, California. And for all of us here at Toastmaster Time, I'm Dave Orris, encouraging you to speak up. Join Toastmasters.